Hi, it's Arky3. In this video I'd like to ask the question, why do we just accept the word of geologists that a feature like this is natural when it looks man-made? Not just from this angle, but from all angles. This feature just doesn't kind of look like animal and human figures. They have identifiable characteristics defined by mineral colorization, chipping and pecking, and the elements created and how the rocks are stacked. Did you know that the only reason geologists will say that this is natural is because from the beginning of their profession it has been assumed that the surface of our planet is a natural feature. This assumption of a natural origin for all things has been adopted by geomorphologists, archaeologists, botanists, and zoologists. All these professions ignore the fact that humans have been here for tens of thousands of years, and that they modified the world around them to make it more productive and to build monuments to themselves. If you are in one of these professions, you can't question these assumptions, or you will be ostracized by your peers and considered a kook. I know if any geologists watch this video, they're going to be like, but you didn't read this book that tells you how the Cueva formed, ignoring the whole point of this video. They won't go study it themselves, and if they do, it will be with an eye to make up geologic processes, ignoring the idea that it could be man-made. There's room for assumptions in science, but they must be tested, or your ideas rest on a house of cards. Archaeologists will say that this feature is natural because there are no people that built things like this in this area. Another assumption that scientists make. That's a lot of assuming and speculating. If you even suggest that other people from around the world were in the Americas, you again will be ostracized by the profession and called a kook. This feature is a good test of Occam's razor, which contends that the explanation with the fewest assumptions and least amount of speculation is likely to be the correct explanation. So I'm showing you here how these features are built. Each segment is comprised of rock and mortar masonry and then coated with this concrete-like plaster. Different colored minerals are added and then chipped and pecked out to create these figures. A geologist's explanation will be that I'm seeing things that aren't here, and that this feature just eroded out of some geologic deposit. This can't really be proven, but it is accepted as fact because geologists say that they are the experts. Why isn't this feature smooth and dark with patina, as if it were eroding for millions of years? Where is the eroded material? Why do they look stable and not eroding today? Why is it all pecked and covered in different colored minerals? Our experts are assuming and speculating, and that makes fools of us all. Academia should be about learning and expanding our knowledge, but it just becomes a form of brainwashing that keeps you in line and punishes you for thinking outside the box of conventional wisdom. Wisdom often in the form of ideas made up over 100 years ago by people making the same assumptions over and over again. So we, the public, are told to ignore the fact that all the rocks and mountains look like heads and faces because geology is just amazing. It's just the way nature is. So what about all this complex art, or the obvious masonry work, or all the obvious human activity in this area, or how it all looks like art from the air? Ask yourself, why do we just accept it? When it doesn't seem geologists are really studying these things to see if they are man-made or not.